or in a bank. Or in a series of lockers in Grand Central. Out of the goodness of my heart. You want to find out where that money is, you're gonna have to do it the hard way.
In Nanjing, China, a young girl named Mei is recognized for her extraordinary talent in mathematics. She can solve complex problems in her head and has an impeccable memory, never forgetting any sequence of numbers she encounters. One day, while walking home with friends, Mei is kidnapped by a group of men and taken to Han, a notorious Chinese mafia boss. Because Han's criminal empire relies on traceable digital data, he wants Mei to act as his living mental calculator. At first, she refuses, but when Han threatens her mother's life, she reluctantly agrees to cooperate. Under the watch of Han's trusted associate, Chang, Mei is smuggled to New York and hidden as Chang's daughter. Elsewhere in New Jersey, former cop and cage fighter Luke is competing in a fight that he is supposed to throw. But in a moment of instinct, he lands a powerful punch and knocks his opponent into a coma. The unexpected victory enrages Emil, the Russian mafia head, who lost millions betting on the fight. Fearing for his family, Luke rushes home, only to find that Emil's son, Vasily, has murdered his pregnant wife. Devastated, Luke refrains from retaliation as the gang threatens to kill anyone connected to him. With nowhere else to turn, Luke disappears into New York City, living as a homeless man and wandering the streets of Manhattan. A year passes. Mei continues working for the Chinese gang. Each week, Chang takes her on tours through Chinatown, where she memorizes the profit and loss percentages of local businesses. Store owners pay the gang according to their earnings, making Mei a vital asset. Over time, she gains insight into how the mafia runs its operations. Meanwhile, Luke survives in a chaotic, disorganized homeless shelter. One night, he meets a man with badly infected feet and gives him his shoes out of pity. The next morning, he wakes to find the man dead, his shoes stolen. Another cruel reminder of the harsh streets. Life remains bleak and unforgiving. Back with the gang, a woman close to Chang informs Mei that her mother has died in China from a severe illness. The news hits her hard. The following day, Han arrives in New York for the first time since sending Mei away. He brings a sheet of numbers and asks Mei to memorize them. She does so in under 10 seconds, and Han burns the paper, ensuring only she knows the sequence. Chang then escorts Mei to her next location, instructing her that she will need to memorize a second set of numbers upon arrival. Everything proceeds according to plan, until they are ambushed by Emil and the Russian mafia, who are also after the numbers. A violent shootout ensues, leaving the Chinese gang defeated and Mei captured by the Russians. At the same time, Luke experiences another misfortune when a passerby steals his breakfast money. While trying to buy something, he bumps into a former police colleague who immediately recognizes him. The man drags Luke to an abandoned building where a group of cops, still angry over Luke exposing their past corruption, beat and humiliate him. Despite the assault, Luke does not fight back. One officer even hands him a gun, urging him to end his life, but he refuses and walks away. Meanwhile, Mei is brought before Emil, the Russian mafia leader. He interrogates her about the numbers she memorized. To her shock, she discovers that the woman who told her about her mother's death was secretly aiding Emil the entire time. When pressed to reveal the code, Mei warns that the woman lacks the knowledge of the business world and will meet a swift death. Moments later, the woman is shot, proving Mei's point. Realizing that revealing the numbers would seal her own fate, Mei stays silent. At that moment, Captain Wolf, a corrupt cop and one of Luke's former colleagues, arrives at the Russian hideout. However, he is acting on orders from Han, the Chinese gang leader. Emil tries to bribe the captain with double the money to abandon the operation. Wolf accepts and retreats, leaving Mei alone. Using the chaos, Mei slips away without being seen, prompting both the Russians and the Chinese gangsters to start hunting her. Eventually, Mei reaches a subway station where Luke is moments away from jumping onto the tracks. Locking eyes with her terrified expression, he stops, realizing something is wrong. He notices the mafia members searching for her and understands he must intervene. As Mei boards the subway to escape, the mafia catches sight of her and gives chase. Luke quickly reacts, clinging to the moving train and systematically taking down the Russian pursuers. One gangster recognizes him from the previous year's beating, astonished that someone so seemingly submissive could now defeat them all in minutes. Luke dispatches the remaining enemies and finally reaches Mei. However, when the subway stops, she panics and disappears into the crowd, mistaking Luke for a threat. As he searches for her, he overhears a police red alert broadcast indicating that corrupt officers are also pursuing her. Luke deduces that the cops intend to hand Mei over to the mafia if they catch her. Soon, two of the officers who previously attacked him locate Mei and attempt to take her. Luke arrives just in time, incapacitating them instantly. Although Mei still doesn't fully trust him, she reluctantly enters a car with Luke. The Russian mafia arrives immediately, prompting a high-speed chase through Manhattan. Luke eliminates all the pursuing gangsters, seizes their wallets, and safely delivers May to a luxurious hotel. Meanwhile, Captain Wolf discovers that May was taken by force, not by the mafia, but by Luke, and is shocked, realizing Luke hasn't engaged in crime-related activities since leaving the police. At the hotel, May begins to trust Luke and tells him about the numbers she memorized. Examining the sequences, Luke realizes they correspond to the combinations of two safes, one likely containing money controlled by the Chinese mafia, the other holding a valuable asset. Using a tracking device on May's phone, Chang locates her at the hotel and arrives with his henchmen, sparking a chaotic shootout. Guests flee in panic as bullets fly. Luke fights off the gangsters but is separated from May during the chaos. Chang captures her while Luke narrowly escapes, knowing he cannot leave her behind. Determined to rescue her, Luke calls Vasily, the Russian who killed his wife a year earlier, posing as a gang member. He claims to possess the sought-after numbers. Vasily believes him and arranges a meeting at a casino to collect the information. Meanwhile, the city's mayor summons Captain Wolf to discuss the violent incidents. The mayor and his boyfriend, Alex, are also corrupt. He reveals Luke's true identity, a CIA agent temporarily assigned to the police after 9/11, who previously assassinated several crime bosses alongside Alex. Luke had to quit after exposing the captain's corruption, while Alex remained, manipulating the mayor to advance his position. Realizing Luke is far more dangerous than they assumed, the corrupt officials become nervous, especially upon learning that May and Luke are together. The mayor seems aware of the safes and their contents, heightening the stakes. May is brought back to Han, the Chinese mafia leader, who asks if she shared the combination with anyone. She lies, claiming she pretended not to understand English. Meanwhile, Chang calls Alex, letting him know they have May and can continue the meeting. It's revealed that the Chinese gang's trading partners are the mayor and Alex, exchanging the contents of their respective safes. Luke arrives at the casino, ambushing Vasily's Russian henchman and taking the son hostage. He calls Emil to demand the safe's contents in exchange for Vasily's life. Emil reveals the Chinese gang's safe contains $30 million, while the mayor's safe holds an asset of equal value. The original trade, intended to transfer the valuables using May, had been disrupted by the Russians, but with May in Chinese hands, the exchange is back on track. Chang proceeds to meet Alex for the code exchange. Luke realizes he must retrieve the $30 million from the Chinese safe before the trade occurs. The safe, hidden deep within Chinatown, is heavily guarded by the most dangerous gang members, so he enlists his former cop colleagues for help. They agree, motivated by the potential reward. Luke and his former cop allies storm the Chinese gang's hideout, triggering a fierce shootout. Several gangsters and cops are killed in the chaos. When they reach the safe, Luke betrays his companions, eliminating all but Captain Wolf, whom he holds hostage alongside Vasily. He secures the $30 million and heads to the mayor's office. On the way, Luke calls Alex to learn the contents of the second safe. With the money in hand, Alex is forced to cooperate, revealing that the mayor's safe contains a disc detailing every crime syndicate in New York. The mayor had intended to sell the disc to the Chinese, pocket the $30 million, and leave the gangs to handle the fallout. Alex had planned to deliver the disc to Chang, but with the money already in Luke's possession, he returns to meet Luke with May. Luke breaks into the mayor's office, demanding the disc. The reluctant mayor complies, handing it over. Luke then reunites with Alex, now holding both the cash and the disc, positioning himself as the most powerful figure in the city's criminal underworld, though Alex retains leverage through May. At the exchange, Luke refuses to trade the money for May, instead proposing a fight to settle matters. Alex prepares to attack, but is shot in the leg by May, giving Luke the opening to eliminate him. With the threat neutralized, Luke and May are finally free, retaining both the cash and the disc as protection. For safety, Luke compensates Captain Wolf with $50,000 and allows Vasily to escape, preventing further Russian retaliation. Han, the Chinese mafia leader, loses both the money and May. Luke sends him the remaining funds to discourage pursuit. Copies of the disc are hidden throughout the city as a safeguard and a means of leverage against potential threats. In the closing scene, Luke and May drive to Seattle, ready to start a new life, far from the criminal chaos. And that, my friends, is how it ended. If you've made it to the end, hit the like button, comment, and share. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next recap.